Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jen Murtland and Monica Weakley.
Why do 85% of real estate agents get out of the business in less than 3 years? Well, the main factor is that these agents don't realize that they own their own business. So my coach, Coach John Kitchens, has put together a free clarity report for us. This is whether you want to earn $100,000 this year or $1 million. This report will give you the clarity you need to thrive in your business and not be a statistic. Go to coachcodeclarity.com for your free clarity report outlining what your success looks like.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jay Mert?
Man, I'm pumped today.
Oh, I know. You went out to the playground and found somebody that you want to play with.
Exactly.
Probably fight me. And this
Yes.
is, way to go. It's because you've been losing so much. You had to go find a sure thing somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's introduce our guest. I am fired up, actually, to introduce Curtis Fenn, president of RedX.
Boom. Hi, Curtis.
Hey, guys.
Oh my
It's great to be here.
We are very honored. And if you guys don't know RedX, I mean, it is, well, as Curtis said, maybe, I don't know, what you've been living under a rock or something, because
Right.
RedX is the premier data source for expireds, FSBOs. What else, Curtis?
Circle prospecting.
Circle prospecting and pre-foreclosure and
for rent by owner.
Yep, everything to do, plus the tools to work on the dialers and the mailing and the social media and everything to work that set of leads. So
Yeah, they have some cool social media stuff. But Monica, you're really soft playing what he said. Curtis, can you repeat what you said? If you don't know what RedX is, then
then you've been living this dreamland of just having relationships for the last 2 or 3 years in this hot market. Because what it's also appreciation, right? I mean, people have done less transactions because they're making so much more money from the relationships that they have, that they've forgotten how to go out and hunt for the business.
Hey, look,
And
it was
the first
really nice
punch.
having you on the podcast today, Curtis. Super psyched that you were here. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
I do want to know, Curtis, what inspired you? How did RedX get started? What's the story?
So I actually wasn't one of the original founders of RedX, but it came kind of organically. There was somebody that was involved with FSBO leads, and people were asking for expireds, and it was so niche back then. This is in 2003, and when we started, and expireds was so niche that even frowned upon. I remember in when I came on board 05, 06. With RedX and going to conferences, people would laugh at us. They go, expireds. I only work referrals, right? They were everyone was a Monica out there.
Bring back the good times.
And you go, great, that's awesome for your 12 transaction a year business.
And
and so it was pretty new, but if you go back, if you go back in time and remember that even your iPhone didn't come out in 2007, in 03, the idea of going out and automating a process of finding contact information was pretty revolutionary in 2003. And we were kind of the pioneers of how to do that in a meaningful way, and since perfected that process, and then the last few years have new revolutionary things to go after that same set of data. And so that's how we got started, but certain and expireds was where we came from, but it's not even the biggest part of our business anymore. But talking about expireds right now is really exciting because there's some changes in the marketplace.
Yes, there's actually an expired every day.
Right.
Right.
Well, look, there was actually 1.49 million expireds last year in 2021, but everybody was caught up helping, their mom's friend and not going out and building a bigger network of people.
What would you say?
This is going to be fun. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, this is great.
Can I say something for those? Because we do have some listeners that have not been in the business longer than 5, 6, 7, 10 years. But before the technology you guys brought, I mean, we would literally be searching the MLS every day to see, did that listing expire overnight? And then you'd have to figure out how to try to find that phone number. I mean, it was exhaustive, right? And this was like mind blowing to have all that time saved and that data delivered to you.
Right.
Right?
It's efficiency. It's speaking to my heart. It's making me sing.
Yep.
But Curtis, if people, I mean, I think Monica and I agree with you. Like expireds are going to be a great source of business in the coming months, right? So if people haven't called expireds or they haven't called them in a while and they see this as an opportunity, what are some of your tips?
So my first tip is don't, if you've never called anyone, don't call expireds first.
Because they're pissed.
Why is that?
Because it's you have to have conversational skills for people who are highly emotional. And you've got to get past the fact that they probably had a bad experience.
They definitely did, and they're really upset.
Well, and whether it was the agent's fault or not, it's the agent's fault, right? In their mind, their perspective, it's this dumb industry. How do they deserve 6%? And you're the 15th person, so it's highly competitive, which has changed since 2003. And the reason for that, just as a quick tangent, is during the recession, we went from 1.5 million realtors down to 800,000 realtors, and people were looking around and they were going, well, what are the people who are left? What are they doing? And it was a bunch of people that, and this won't be a jab, it was a bunch of people that had strong spheres of influence, and they had another pillar of their business that was a hunting pillar of their business. And so then as we've grown it as an industry, people come in, they look around, they go, what are they doing? They go, oh, they work expireds. So expireds now is so much different. People aren't laughing at us. They're just saying, they're either saying, oh, I don't know. I don't have a good system to work those because I don't want to call.
Who do you recommend to people to start first if they're going to like soft enter this cold calling field?
I would call our geo leads or neighborhood searches.
Oh God.
So, and for a couple of reasons, Jen, because one is you've got to just get used to talking to people you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Because also, as great as connection rates right now are better than they've ever been in history, because our technology keeps getting better. Yet you're still going to get a wrong number, and you want to be able to turn that wrong number into a great conversation on the phone. And that conversation is the same conversation you're having with a neighborhood or a geo leads type lead. So it's where you tip your toe in the water. Is with the neighborhood.
It's so soft. You're like, oh, I had such a great conversation. Well, yeah, but are they going to sell? Well, no, but you spent 30 minutes freaking talking to them.
No, but see, this is why I could play mediator between transactional and relationship business. Is that the success metric there is not an appointment to do a listing appointment. The success metric with that type of lead is, did I add somebody to my database that I'm going to continue to build a relationship with? Right. And so if you're comfortable there, then you move to probably a for rent by owner. I think it's the most underutilized lead source there is. These are vacant rentals.
Yes.
And you're calling the homeowner.
Yes.
And all of them have been scrubbed against property management lists. So these are people who are managing their own rentals, and they're looking for a tenant. You're at the height of their frustration. If you own rentals, like when it's vacant, I don't want it. It's right.
Yes.
And those are very easy conversations because
easy.
Very rarely are they're emotional about it. It's just money. And so it's a pretty quick, if I can show you how to put more money in your pocket versus you continue to try to rent this out, is that worth 15 minutes of your time? And they go, yeah, absolutely. Come show me.
Well, plus they usually have more than one.
Often they have more than one, or if they don't want to sell, often they want to buy more. So it's a great conversation no matter what you're doing. So you can even find those people you want to build a relationship with, those lead types, Monica.
You're right. And I like your point is, and to be honest, I've actually never considered that angle of this, which is weird because I've been doing this for 19 years, this idea of just the point is to convert them into your world so that you can begin to then build on that relationship, educate them what you do, how you help, blah, blah, blah.
It makes sense though, if you're an agent that is either in a new market or you're not doing enough deals. So, you have a smaller sphere, you want to get a bigger sphere. The only way is to meet people, and why not meet people you already know are wanting to do something in real estate?
Right.
That's exactly right.
Right.
I love that.
Closer to the transaction. And then you add in all of the social media stuff where you can actually, get in front of these people before you call them.
What is this social media stuff you're talking about?
So
I'm going to mute myself and tune out now. No, I'm just kidding.
Outside,
I'm all ears.
Outside of, without getting into the details of our product, right now, anybody can take a list of people and upload it into the social media platforms and then target content to those people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of two strategies there. And it's really this transactional or relationship. Like you could target people with content that is trying to find the low hanging fruit, the people who are ready to go right now.
Mm-hmm.
The same strategies people do on the phone,
right?
With prospecting expireds, you could do on social media. You're just looking for those hot, ready listing appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you can serve up just very organic content so that people can observe you over and over and over again, thereby building a reputation, right? They have an opinion or belief about
like a brand.
You.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you build a brand, and Brand Builder is the name of our product, by the
look
way.
at that.
All right, so
Hey.
you build a brand to these people, which makes the phone calls easier. It's so much easier if you call somebody and they go, "Oh, Jen, I think I've heard of you."
Yeah.
Right. Then the straight cold call. But it also helps then they already know enough about you to know if they want to continue a relationship with you.
Right. Because it's not about how many deals you've done. It's about, do they want to do business with you? And that's why new agents can always get business, because if it was only about how many you've done, there would never be any new agents.
Right.
Never happened. Right.
And there's always new agents.
Let me make sure I understand.
It's a different side podcast.
If you are a client, okay, do you have to be a client of the RedX side of the business that is the dialer and the data?
So you don't
take
have
advantage
to,
of the social media?
No, you could build a reputation with all your own sphere. You could upload your own database that you already have from your CRM and build a reputation with them. And you don't need RedX to do that, right?
Well, right.
You could do it on your own. We just do all the content editing and videos and know all the secrets.
I think it's a good we had Luke Acree on, for Reminder Media, and a lot of people do the magazines to their sphere. To me, it seems like kind of a good add-on to that. Like where they're doing all the marketing to the same people. So the same people are getting all your social media stuff. They're getting the magazine, things like that. Yeah.
You're looking for that language. I see you everywhere. This is what you're looking for, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the top of mind game for sure.
Well, and we live in in a time when, again, you could be a new agent and you could be perceived by the people you're targeting as the biggest agent in the country.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Build your own brand,
Who was telling us they did I was listening to a podcast. Maybe it was your guys' podcast, Curtis. I can't remember.
But it really was good. It probably was.
It probably was. So insightful. But somebody polled a neighborhood and said, who's the top realtor in the neighborhood? And they said a name. Then that same company sent mailers, have you heard this?
Once a month for 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a fake agent. Like the agent is not a real person, did not exist, but these people saw them on the mailers every month. Then they were re-polled like a year later and said, who's the top agent? And they said this fake person. Like, it's just not that hard to be the number one spot.
It's not.
Why aren't you?
But you have to do something. That's where we run into trouble in any business is you got to do stuff. And
that's probably if we're thinking about what are the characteristics that successful agents have in common. I mean, you're talking to successful agents. I imagine one of those is being in action.
Yes.
Can you talk more about that or other things that
you've
I
would love to. I think it's not only in action, it's where is their focus? So you can be in action and you could be busy all day long. A lot of agents are busy all the time. not focused on money making activities.
Mhm.
And again, just for the jab, it tends to be more people who want to build a relationship business, but they're doing it poorly because they're doing things that think they're building a brand and reputation to that will result in a transaction, and really they're just being
not
friendly and not really building their business.
Yes.
And so the successful agents we see, and this starts with getting more analytical than most agents are comfortable being, because a lot of people get into the business.
Oh, you're talking about math.
You have to do, you gotta do math a little bit. You gotta understand where the ROI of your activities comes from.
Oh, you have to know what ROI is.
So you gotta, maybe treat this like a business.
Oh, there's a novel idea. Yes, we like that. He's speaking our language.
Yeah.
And Curtis, just so you know, just because I am the relationship soft side of this story, everything we do talk about is completely system oriented and revenue generating activity within that.
Well, yeah, you have a whole platform where if you decide that you want to do it more like social brand building on how, like you're saying, Curtis, what are the activities that need to happen every day in order to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask this question of somebody in your side of the business. And that is for agents that have real call reluctancy. I mean, that is a real thing that has to be overcome, I think.
Get a dialer.
What's your best? Well, that just makes me sweat and want to like vomit.
Right.
That idea of like, I'm out of control of it. Curtis, how do you help people like that?
Great. I love this question because I believe that the call reluctance is just, it comes from confidence, and confidence 100% comes from skills. You know, the more we feel competent, the more confident that we will become. And so role playing is really important, and so important to us that and this is not something you can find on our website. So maybe you're hearing it first here. Even if you're a customer, you're like, what? I have that. We have a role play system for our customers that's free of charge, but we know that there's reluctance. So people can call in. It's a special secret number. They can call in
that number,
and it says, what lead type do you want to practice? They'll say, well, I want to call an expired. It gives them some instruction, and then the phone will ring. And somebody on my staff answers, and they will not break character. So even when these agents are like, okay, am I doing this okay? They're like, what are you talking about? Right?
I love that.
We are going to do that and record it.
You should. And you can, well, here's the recording. You do it. You actually beforehand select how difficult you want the role play to be. And what that means is really how many objections we're going to throw at somebody before we give them the appointment. Because you do practice to win, you don't practice to lose. So every role play will result in you getting the appointment.
Nice.
But at the end of the call, then there might be a little bit of back and forth feedback, but then you can hit a number and it will send you the recording of the call. It will text you the recording.
Oh my God, we're going to do that. Monica, are you going to do it with me?
Yeah, I'll try my hat. You know, I'll end up in tears over it, but I'll try.
But look, and here's the thing to your question is, we've had people call in every day for weeks before they felt a level of competency to get on the phone and call real leads.
Wow,
right?
Very cool.
And so there's that, but there's, even that you have to have scripts, which we have in our system, but they don't. You got to find a script that resonates with you.
Right.
And people go, I'm not a script person. Well, you got to find something that resonates with you, memorize it, and then customize it. Because again, you need to not think about.
But people already have scripts. That's why your spouse and your kids and your friends already know what you're going to say.
Right.
Because you say the same shit every day, every time. You have a script, but it's just that the script that you're saying to get customers isn't working. So why don't you try one that works?
Right. And to your point, the homeowner on the other side has a script.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They have a script too. That's
same thing.
That says you're the fourth agent that's called me.
Yeah.
That's it.
I didn't want to do this.
5,000 agents.
Right.
4 are working today.
Exactly.
Jesus.
That's a good script right there.
Yeah.
Curtis, what do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of an expired? I mean, there's a lot we know, we understand. They're upset, they're frustrated, they feel like they've been duped in some way. The real estate business has let them down, blah, blah, blah. What is misunderstood about them?
You guys ask great questions. We don't have enough time for me to go into everything, but
Okay.
so
We'll
let me give a couple answers here. One is I think that from the expired listing. So I'm going to give you two answers, one on the homeowner and one on the listing. And one thing that is drastically misunderstood is I hear this all the time. Everybody says it was overpriced. And our data science team has spent the last few months really analyzing to be able to predict whether listings will expire or not. And interestingly enough, and then we predict whether it will sell the second time around. And homes in the 250 to 650 price range, which is most of us, right? On average, sell the second time around with a price increase versus a price decrease.
Really?
And it's not always a price decrease. So what's misunderstood is that people to the homeowner are thinking these people are unrealistic. They expired in this market. They expired, right?
That's what I think.
And that's changing with the market. But really, there is much more to the marketing of that listing than
then
people
you notice
realize.
there's iPhone pictures with like that fish.
Yeah. And there's more strategy in pricing, right? And I know we get in these arguments of, do I end it 999 or the 0? And
we've had that argument.
And really, you just need to understand where people are searching.
Yes.
And what the categories on in there, right? You got to understand what keywords, like all of this fluffy garbage in the description. You should be writing the description on your listing the way we write descriptions for Google, right?
Right.
For search engine optimization, because they're searching.
You're so smart.
And
that's
so
actually brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Right. So
I hope that what people are hearing is that there are a lot of tools out there to get data, but RedX, really, you're more of a holistic approach.
Yes.
And you guys dive really deep. And literally every time like I call and I need something, like you guys also just pick up, you're available. And it's not just like, I don't know. Right. But I think this could be a good place to take like a quick break, hear from our sponsors and our favorite partners. And then when we return, Curtis will give us some more nuggets. That's some good shit, Curtis.
Nuggets. And I want to talk about FSBOs when we return real quick.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, welcome back. Let's get back to the battle inside of the ring. I'm getting a little beat up here, but I'm actually also super interested in this conversation because I think it's really important right now. And agents are wanting to know, what do they need to do right now to prepare not only to survive the shift, but I say thrive in the shift, because this is real opportunity right now. And a tool like RedX and or just this concept of you diving into for sale by owners or getting out of your comfort zone a little bit and making sure your lead gen efforts are effective and efficient. Now is the time to be paying attention to this. So I'm glad we're talking to you, Curtis. Talk a little bit about FSBOs. We focused on expireds a little bit, but what's the mindset? What's misunderstood? What do you think is the best winning script for a FSBO you've ever heard in your life?
Yo, want more money? I can help you. I'm coming over.
That's Murtland.
That's it.
So Jen may not love this answer, but we see the most successful FSBO prospectors do take a relationship approach with the FSBOs, right?
Curtis, you let me down.
Yeah, there's just less low-hanging fruit of even just statistically. When you're calling expireds, there's tons of them that are ready to get it back on the market and go now, right? Yeah. With FSBOs, just statistically with the numbers, there's less that are like, oh, you caught me at the exact moment that I'm ready to talk to an agent and give and open to interviewing you to be the agent.
Yeah.
And so the approach being that you want to come in and give to get, and you want to be able to help them because they want to try it on their own.
Yeah.
And most of them realize that was stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
you can hire all your friends to call them and ask how much for rent it is. That'll annoy them.
That's a good strategy. We'll spin up a call center for that and charge extra.
Oh,
we're not an ISA, but we really annoy FSBOs so that they'll hire an agent.
That's a good business strategy. I like it.
You're right, because what I've heard, and I've not called FSBOs with any consistency over the years.
You texted 3 the other day.
I know it, and one of them was like, "I'll hold on to your number." I felt really like that was a win.
Oh God.
I understand it's like, maybe that's a 6, 8, 10, 12 phone call win, right? I mean,
it's like 20. It's like 20 to 20 contacts is what I saw. Contacts? I've seen. Curtis,
what do you think?
Yeah, 20 contacts to a listing appointment.
Yeah, with the 20 FSBOs to a yes. 20 FSBO contacts to a yes.
Yeah, I think it's better than that. Actually, it depends on your script. I mean, if
they're getting proven,
because here's the thing: is even if your approach is I'm going to give to get, and I'm just trying to get over there, right? And I would say if you have time because you're a new agent or you're not doing a lot of business, door knocking on a FSBO is better than calling all day long, right? Because then you're already there. It's like, well, can I see it?
And you can just door knock the whole area while you're there. Don't just go to one, do the rest. Yeah. 10 on each side, 20 across. Dang, get out there.
Well, as a side note, when we have surveyed top agents, people who make over $250,000 a year in GCI, so top agents, 60% still knock on doors.
Yeah.
And
60%.
I love door knocking.
Yeah, it was 60, and they do it strategically. It's like what they're not going canvas a whole neighborhood, but if they're in a neighborhood, they're pulling up our system saying, well, I'm going to go hit these expireds and these FSBOs and these 3 people in foreclosure. But they're still going out and knocking on doors because they recognize that when things get complicated, right? For an expired, for a FSBO, for someone in pre-foreclosure, someone with a vacant rental that's trying to rent it out. When people at the point of high emotion, we want human intervention. We want people to help us.
Oh, you want a hug.
And so if you can be that human in that moment, then you're more likely to get the listing. I do think it's better than 20 to 1. But that depends on your script. 20 to 1, if you are going straight for I'm looking for people who want to interview an agent, I would say that's pretty good. That's accurate.
What else would you be looking for? The relationship?
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Think of it, Jen, that you're tricking people.
I don't even
you're
have
pretending to have a relationship just to get the transaction.
That's what I do on my Tinder profile. Just kidding.
Hey, Curtis, it sounds like you guys, first of all, are so data driven, which, believe it or not, as this kind of high eye on the disc thing, I actually appreciate that. What else was interesting when you're polling the 250K earners?
Or surprising.
What else is standing out there? Yeah.
Most of that. And what's funny is we first did that survey in like 2014, and year over year, it doesn't change much. There's little variance in what top producers are doing. That survey showed us that top producers are working more lead types. It was almost 3 times as many types of leads than
because you only have 2 or 5 expireds, and before it would take me all day to get through the expired list.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and it just creates a variety of, you want to. People talk about diversifying your portfolio. Well, you need to diversify your prospecting portfolio. You even need to diversify your sphere of influence. If you're just trying to get referrals, if you only have family and you're trying to get referrals from family, pretty soon they're not even going to invite you over for the barbecue, right?
That's right.
So you've got to diversify in the different parts of your business. So we saw that because the survey was really. We got all the results and compared high producing agents to anybody making less than 70. And we were comparing the behaviors. Numbers was a big one, right?
The amount.
Know your numbers.
It was top producers knew their numbers. They knew all the way down. I mean, when we surveyed prospecting agents, it was like, no, I know when I get on the phone, I make $7.17 for every number I dial.
Right.
Like they had broken down. They knew exactly where they should be spending their time. which is why you can, and this was earlier in the conversation, is now where to take action, and not just be busy taking action, but action on money-making activities. So,
oh my God,
so that was
this. Can we go on for another hour?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. What do you think what have you seen when you're talking to these agents, and that the biggest mistake, the most frequent mistake people are making?
Oh, man.
Do you know what I'm trying to ask you?
Well, maybe I have an answer either way.
No, it could be. No, I meant
any mistake. Okay, so here's what I see over the last couple of years, and we made jabs at this early on, but here's what I see is as agents have made more money, more than inflation, right? A lot of people, so appreciation is much more than inflation. So there was a couple of years where agents were not doing any more work than they'd been doing, but they're making 30% more money.
Yeah, boom.
And here's what they did.
They bought a Lambo.
They went out and they said, you know what? I'm above these things like prospecting or door knocking, and I'm going to buy a $2,000 lead system, right? You remember the old rotisserie chicken infomercial, the set it and forget it? That's the mistake people are making. They think that they can have rotisserie chicken in all aspects of their business, and you can't automate a relationship. You just can't. You can't automate lead generation either, because even if you spend $2,000 and they send you somebody, what do you got to do?
Talk to them.
You got to pick up the phone and call them.
That's right.
Well, what do you think about, I see, and I know what I think, so I'm going to try to ask it without leading you.
Oh,
what do you think about agents that hire like VAs or to do the ISA work? Do you think that works or no?
So it has, I got to be careful because we have some great partners that do this, right? Where it doesn't work is it depends on what you're paying for. Are you paying for a staff member, or are you paying for leads? Okay. Because when you start to pay for leads and you think, I'm just going to hire an ISA that's just going to, come list me ready leads. I have not seen that model work. I have just,
but I like your mind. It's a mindset thing. Like, you're paying for leads. So it's the same as paying for internet leads. It's just,
if you're not treating them like staff, if you're not leveraging through other humans, which is what you're saying, that is more like, if you think of them as staff, right?
Yeah. If you think of them as staff and then you train them, manage it like you would a staff, instead of
letting it go.
You can't expect an ISA company to produce the same results that you're producing. Just like I have some staff that I don't expect to do what I'm doing. Right. I expect them to do something different, and I judge them according to their role and responsibility. So I think if people go at that, VAs, I think, are different than some of the ISA companies. When you can have a relationship with the person, they start to get to know you and represent you well. But I can tell you, I did a thing in the last couple of years and bought a whole bunch of properties in Birmingham, Alabama. And I've never even been there. It's a long story, but now I own a bunch of rentals in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. And they have great accents down there. It's one of the best Southern accents.
So, is there a college there? Is that a college town?
I know. You ask me anything about Birmingham, I'm going to sound like an idiot. I have no idea.
Anyway,
but I do know that now my name is on a bunch of county records, and I'm getting blown up by mostly investor ISAs.
Yeah.
And I'm getting blown up with text messages. Well, because of what we do, I want to know if they got the information from RedX, because, and so I respond to every call and every text, and more than 50% of the people never call me back. They'll call me.
They sound like realtors,
or they will send me a text message, and it's usually like, "Oh, are you interested in buying any more properties?" Or, were you thinking about selling this one? I go, "Yeah, tell me what you got." And they don't even reply back.
Isn't that crazy?
And so that has to do with there's two things. If the agents are doing that, they need to do better. If they're hiring a company to do that, it means the incentive for the people calling is wrong. Right?
Yeah, they're just incentivizing the out.
Yeah. So if they're just blowing through lists to get the,
low hanging fruit.
0.1% of people that are like, oh, this is serendipitous. Yes.
Yeah,
Right now I want to
right.
list with you. Then it's not going to work.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Do you have I have a final question, unless you have one, Monica.
I did have a question. It just escaped me. So go ahead and I'll think of it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, out of everything that you do in the day, what is your favorite part of your job?
Well, that's it's my team.
Mhm.
We have 120 people here,
Wow.
and
That's a lot.
and I
You're in Utah, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
And I never want to not want to come into work.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so we work hard to have a great culture. I don't know, that translates hopefully to anybody with a business, including real estate agents, is if you hate your, if you don't want to go to work in the morning,
Nobody's going to want to work with you.
and that doesn't mean you don't have to like embrace the suck sometimes. I mean, you still got to like,
Mhm.
you got to do crappy things, but it
Mhm.
does mean that you want to go and work around great people and do things. So that's what I
That's very
enjoy most
lucky.
about my day.
That's
That's
lovely.
awesome. I did think of what I was going to ask, and it speaks to the ISA conversation or VA conversation we were having. And it's just put yourself in the position of a owner, whether it be an expired or a FSBO, and they pick up the phone and imagine what that would feel like, where they're actually talking to the expert versus, hey, I'd like to put you in touch with Jen Murtland. She's amazing, and she'd like to meet you about your house. Like, just feels so different. I'd be much.
I think it just depends, though, to his point, because I'm basically the ISA for our team, right?
Right.
And they never meet me. They always meet Alan or whatever.
That's
And
true. That's true.
and I
I
think
still
if
think it probably feels different, but you're successful with it. So
I think it depends. And I think that's what Curtis was saying. Like, if you have people, that are just like, do you want to sell your house? Yes or no? Do you want to sell your house? Yes or no? Right? Like, that's not going to work. But if you have somebody that you've coached and trained, and I think you were alluding to, that's the biggest problem with people that hire staff, whether they're virtual or not, is they don't take the time to really tweak the process.
Mhm.
And nobody's going to perform well if you've never taken time with them. They would have no idea, because osmosis is not like real in human interaction, right?
No. And I would say, now again, with social media and with the products that we now have with brand builder and ad builder and how you can do this, I would say if somebody's like, I'm not going to call, the first step would not be to go hire someone to call for you. Like, if you haven't done that, and if you don't know how you would answer those objections, then somebody can't represent you. So the first step would not be hire an ISA or VA to do it. The first step would be, let me go build a brand and reputation with these people through social media tools. So I'm still targeting this great list of people that are really close to a transaction decision, and still get some of that benefit rather than hiring the ISA.
So many good nuggets.
I love it. Wait, let me ask one more quick question.
Monica.
Do you think, Curtis, that the mindset of the caller matters? So for instance, most agents think, I'm nervous because I'm trying to get something from them, right? I'm trying to get the appointment. I'm trying to get them to say yes, whatever, versus that mindset of, I think I can help this person, and I'm going to do whatever that takes. They need help. They need a solution. I mean, is that really the kind of key mindset shift before you get on the phone? I know Jen talked about that before. Yeah.
And if Jen's trying to conclude, I can add it. This can be my concluding thought here, but two things, again, we are scientists, we're nerds. We love to crack the code and figure things out. And if you do follow a lot of our content, it's 100% finding someone that's doing something really well and investigating how they're doing it and breaking that down to share with other people. In all of our surveys with top producers and all of our interviews, there is this part in the process of prospecting that we call the mindset shift stage. And for a lot of people, it's a song, a playlist. In fact, we have blogs that have top producers playlists on there.
That's
that show that. So a lot of people, it's like a music. So some people, it's like get pumped up. Some people, it's like a prayer of like, okay, whatever it is. But we found over and over and over, like before they hit go. There is a routine that allows them to shift the mindset. And then also we in the lead stack that people are calling is what we call it, the order of the different leads you're calling. We always recommend like, don't go from expireds to FSBOs. Don't go from expireds to anything. Go from expireds to a couple of your past clients. Why? Because it will put you back in the right mindset before you continue on. We even recommend break up. If you're calling expireds for 3 hours, like break that up, you know, to call some of your past clients, because they're like, oh my gosh, Jen, I'm still going to hear from you. You know,
not my past client.
Because
no, I'm just kidding.
Monica, right?
Yeah, that's better.
Because they're your advocate now, and that boosts you up and puts you in that right mindset. My concluding thought would be this, is that I love expireds. And again, they're not the biggest part of our business and haven't been for a lot of years, but I love the shift. I love talking about expireds. The T360 group came out a few years ago with the danger report. I don't know if you remember this.
No.
And it was commissioned by NAR, and it was like, they wanted to look at the threats to our industry. The number one threat of all of their research was incompetent agents. That was the number one threat to our industry.
So true. Not fucking do anything about it.
No, well, but that's why I believe that great agents should be prospecting to expired listings. They've had a negative experience in our industry. And if we don't do anything, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go FSBO, or they're going to continue to be on the bandwagon of like, why do they deserve all this money? And they don't do anything. And it hurts our industry. So a good agent can make up for an incompetent agent or a bad experience with the homeowner and turn it into a great experience. And then not only that, Monica, to your credit, then they become a very powerful relationship that will continue to give you business for the rest of your life.
That's right. And that is such a great message to relationship-based agents, that this can be an incredible, not only incredible source of obviously business, but we get to then take that business, put it into our relationship approach and service and concierge approach, as Jen hates to talk about, and really make a difference and raise the bar in this business. Because I believe relationship-based agents do raise the bar in this business, but we're not doing what we should do to correct or convert these bad experiences. So I like that angle, Curtis.
It's a great point. I love all the nerd vibes of RedX.
All right, I think that's going to have to be the end of today's battle. If you loved what you heard, if you got some nuggets today, of course, always we love it when you share this with other agents in your world, and be sure to like, subscribe, and do all the things, you know, follow us on the Insta Twitter. Facegram, and all the things.
Curtis, if people want to get into, see the blog, see what RedX has to offer, we have an affiliate code if you're ready to kind of look at some of the options for signing up. But if they want to listen to the podcast, where do they find all that stuff?
So they should find it through the same link that you give them. And the reason is because then that saves, and then they can read the blogs. And when they decide to come back and sign up, then they'll still get the discount that they'll get through you. So,
awesome. Great.
So so go through that same link that we'll share. I'm assuming it'll be shared somewhere in comments.
Look in the show notes on wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you're on YouTube, we will put it in the comments below.
Yes. Exactly. Well, and go ahead, Monica.
I was just going to thank Curtis for being here and for your time. I know that you are a busy guy, and this was great having you. Really some good nuggets there.
Thank you, Curtis.
So yep.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Monica here. I am so excited to introduce you to Real Estate Fight Club's newest partnership, Cyberbacker. Cyberbacker is the best in the business for virtual assistants. How do I know this? Because I am a Cyberbacker customer and I love this company. I have my favorite, Frances. She is my Cyberbacker, been with me for over a year. She's amazing. She makes me better. She's eager to help. She's on time. She's disciplined. She's awesome. And this company, Cyberbacker, has figured out the system from the interviewing process to find out what I need, to the interviewing process to interview several Cyberbackers, to the onboarding process, to the training process. Very buttoned up, very awesome. You and I both know it's time for you to leverage. It's time for you to take that step, and Cyberbacker is a really safe, awesome solution. Make sure to mention Fight Club and you will be getting a free gift. All right, do it. Make the call. See ya.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.